All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? We are here. The matchup that everyone has been waiting for since Chris Paul went down in Game 5 of the Western Conference playoffs last year. Rematch around earlier than a lot of us expected because the Houston Rockets are the 4 seed. We are here. Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets rematch. Outside of DeMarcus Cousins being injured, both teams are in full strength. All right, it's the same matchup from last year pretty much. I'm aware of Andrew Bogut being available for the Golden State Warriors. I'm aware of the Houston Rockets picking up Kenneth Faried, a couple other players. But for the most part, we got the same 2 teams that gave us a phenomenal Game 7 series. And I am here to give you my X Factor, my preview, and my prediction for this series. First and foremost, for the entire season, I've been telling everyone around me that if these 2 teams faced off again, I believe the Houston Rockets would win. I actually thought the Rockets would have beat the Warriors in 6 games last year because of the simple fact of after Game 2, the Rockets had figured the Warriors out. Period. They had mentally defeated the Golden State Warriors. I tell everyone there is absolutely one way to beat the Golden State Warriors, in my opinion. You have to make it past the 3rd quarter. If you can get to the 4th quarter, you're fine. If you look at some of those Clipper games in the first round matchup that the Warriors just got out of, skated out of, if the Clippers got to the 4th quarter, for the most part, those games were winnable. Getting past the 3rd quarter with the Warriors is lethal, and the Rockets were able to do that last year. They just saw their superstar point guard go down with an injury that he could not return from. James Harden, I thought, was okay last year. He was not the X factor. It was Chris Paul. James Harden is great against everybody else in the NBA except the Warriors. You know, it's playoff mode, Harden activated. I didn't like Harden actually the last few games against the Utah Jazz. He pretty much started playing how he plays against the Warriors a few games earlier this year. I did not like Harden against the Jazz. That defense that Rubio and Royce O'Neal was playing on him, it looked like it started to work. And Harden was shooting terribly from the field. I think it's going to have to be on Chris Paul again. You know, I think Chris Paul is going to have to command the offense and literally put Harden in the right spots. Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to in regards to, can Chris Paul do it again? And I just don't think so. When I look at Chris Paul, and I haven't even gotten to the Warriors yet, when I look at Chris Paul, he's not as great as he was last year. And I believe Harden's going to struggle because the Warriors have the perfect game plan for Harden in the playoffs. It never fails. And I don't believe Chris Paul's the player that he was last year. That Chris Paul last year could have beat the Warriors. The Chris Paul this year is suspect at best a lot of games. And I can't pick the Rockets. I have been telling everybody I was going to pick the Rockets all year. But now it's put up a shut-up time. And I'm backing off my prediction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm picking the Golden State Warriors. And to be honest with you, the Warriors are not playing the greatest of basketball right now. Kevin Durant has pretty much been saving the Warriors so far in the playoffs. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Here's the problem with that, right? When Durant goes off, and you will see this a game or 2 in this series, when Durant goes off, it takes the Warriors out of their offense. That's how you see a team come back from 31 and beat them. That's how you see the Warriors lose on their home court 2 times in one series. Because it's pretty much been Durant, and he's playing the game the right way, but for some reason, it just doesn't get the other Warriors to respond correctly. They're at their best when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are getting the bulk of the shots. That's just how it is. But Kevin Durant has been so damn great so far in the postseason. I think he can literally will his team to the next round. Now, PJ Tucker plays great defense with Kevin Durant. They're good friends off the court. I expect those 2 guys to go at it. I expect PJ Tucker to be a big factor in this series. Not my X factor, but definitely a big factor. Eric Gordon can shoot the lights out of the basketball. I actually think the Houston bench is now better than the Warriors bench. I probably wouldn't have said that last year. For me, I have 2 X factors. We're going to do an X factor per team in this round for every series. My X factor For the Houston Rockets, I already mentioned him a little bit, is Chris Paul. Chris Paul had the Warriors beat last year. It is plain and simple. If he can somehow, some way get into his superstar James Harden's head and James Harden allows Chris Paul to put this team in the right spots, the Rockets got a chance. My X factor for the Golden State Warriors this series, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson will have more responsibility than anyone else on the court in this series. Number one, he will be assigned the task of guarding James Harden more than anyone else. And I can guarantee you, Klay Thompson will not be picking up the Utah Jazz, salute to Coach Snyder and company. He won't be playing their defense. He won't be playing behind James Harden. He's going to be in front of James Harden, which means Harden's going to probably make more points. He's probably going to be more efficient. But at the same time, Klay has been known as a premier defender in our league for the last 5 to 7 years. I didn't see that premier defense from Klay Thompson most of the first round against the Clippers. There were a couple games when Lou Williams went off. And the games that Lou Williams did not go off against the Warriors, it was just simply because he was off. I haven't seen lockdown defender from Klay Thompson. Now, he's still a phenomenal scorer. I just have not seen lockdown defender from Klay Thompson this year. And he's going to be a big factor. Chris Paul on one side, Klay Thompson on the other side. How good can Klay Thompson's defense be, which will affect Steph Curry, right? Because if Klay doesn't have problems guarding Harden, obviously Steph Curry is going to probably end up on Eric Gordon or PJ Tucker or maybe Chris Paul a little bit. That's one reason why the Rockets do such a great job against the Warriors, because you really can't hide Steph Curry in this series. Anytime, if you look back historically, when the Warriors have not been able to hide Steph Curry in basketball games, that's when they struggle. It affects his offense because he's not the greatest of defenders. With all that being said, my prediction for this series, I have the Golden State Warriors winning this bad boy in 6 games. Also, another factor that a lot of people are not talking about, the Rockets had home court last year. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that they split in Houston. And the Rockets were able to keep some of that momentum going forward. Rockets don't got home court. Golden State's got that. Meaning, Houston's got to win game 1 and game 2 in Golden State. Because the Warriors are getting one in Houston. You can forget that. I just saw that Warriors team play lights out on the road. This series is going to be good. I got the Warriors in 6. I thought I was going to pick the Rockets, but I just couldn't do it. I would love to know your predictions in the comment box below. Who do you have winning this Battle of Goliath? And by the way, this is going to be a good series. Let's make that clear. This is going to be a good series. All right, who do you have winning this series? The one team that's been able to give the Golden State Warriors consistent trouble over the last couple years, the Houston Rockets, will be facing off against the 2-time defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors, looking to get to their 5th straight Western Conference Finals. Wow. This is a matchup of Goliaths. You got an MVP on one side. You got 2 MVP guys on the other. You got stars like Klay Thompson and Chris Paul and big guys like Clint Capella, Draymond Green, Eric Gordon. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I can't wait for ball to start. This is going to be a good one. Sunday at noon, they tip this thing off. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
Got the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.